Today we are going to be planting hopefully 338 onion seeds in our Prop Tech trays. And it's January, so it is time to get those onions started, y'all. Let's move over to our seed starting area. You are going to see some PDFs in this video. Those are linked down below in my stand store, and you can also get our Google Sheet there as well. The seed trays are ready to go. I have them filled with the Vermont compost, and I sprayed them down with a mix of water and Neptune's Harvest. Our first seed we are planting is a yellow Granex PPR onion. I got these seeds from Botanical Interests. Onions are annuals. As these grow, we can snip the tips of them and use them as green onions for anything you want to cook in the kitchen. They have a 160-day maturity, so it does take quite a while. This is why we are starting them inside. And honestly, if they fail, I can always just go out and buy some onion bulk. The last thing we're going to do is make sure our seeds are covered and then start on our next row. So I'm going to poke all my little holes that I know where my seeds are going to go. And the next seed we are starting is a yellow sweet Spanish onion. I got these from Baker's Creek. I could not remember the amount I paid for it nor find the receipt. They again are an annual. Yellow sweet Spanish onions have an ideal temp between 45 degrees Fahrenheit and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Their maturity is 110 days, so they will mature before our yellow Granex. However, we can still start them at the same time. We may transplant them a little differently. This means we're not getting all of the harvest at the exact same time, so that we can do a 1-by-1 harvest. Yellow sweet Spanish onions also have a very, very strong onion flavor. So these are good for cooking with and to preserve up and freeze dry for onion powder. Side note, each one of the PDFs that I have in the stand store, I have one for each growing zone. I know I'm showing growing zone 6 on the screen right now, and that is because that is my grow zone. Grab grow zones 1 through 9 in the stand store. I also have the Google Sheets for grow zones 1 through 9 in the stand store as well. Can you tell I really like this next onion we're about to plant? It's the Violet de Galmi. I'm probably pronouncing that horribly wrong. Onion. I get these from Baker Creek, but they are very mild, kind of to the point where you could almost eat them raw if you really, really like onions. I would never bite into a raw onion. I'm just not that person. This one is also 110 days to maturity. We are doing a seed depth of 1/4 of an inch. Yeah, that's pretty much how it's going to go with all the onions. They do have that long maturity rate, and we just gotta be patient. The one thing I do love about seed starting onions is you can actually pick up the seeds and get one seed per hole, and it's pretty fabulous. When we do the herbs, you're going to see it's a struggle. You get on the struggle bus, and getting that one seed per hole it's just really not possible. It's basically it's not going to happen. Last but not least is our Globo Onions. Again, these are from Baker Creek. They are an annual. Absolutely start these indoors. You want to plant them at a seed depth of about 1/4 of an inch. Their maturity is 168 days, so this is by far going to be the longest to maturity. That is because Globo Onions are flippin' huge, y'all. I mean, they are huge. Keep that in mind when you're planting them out in the garden. That is why the spacing when you plant them out is 6 inches. These suckers get pretty dang big, and you want to make sure you have room for them so they're not crowding each other out. All right, so yes, I did plant 338 onion seeds. Dear Lord, yes, I know that is a ton of onion seeds. However, last year I was not able to grow enough onions to last a full year, nor to just save any in the pantry. I did end up freeze drying them or freezing them in the freezer, chopped up to use in meals. So I'm hoping this way we get enough that I can actually store them for fresh use. Our next step is to just spray down the tops to re-moisten it with a mix of water and Neptune's Harvest. Then we take it down into the grow room, and I get to have
a ton of fun trying to use saran wrap to cover these bad boys because I could not find my plastic. I tried about 50 billion different ways to do this. And yes, in a pinch, you can use saran wrap. It is not the simplest thing in the world. But I do have my new plastic on order since I figured out that I used the plastic I had earmarked for this for a different project. Oops, sometimes you just have to make do with what you have. From here, the lights will stay on for roughly 14 to 16 hours until things start to sprout up, and then we will take them down to the normal sunlight. Keep them watered and moist, but not overwatered. You do not want them to drown or grow fungus. Do you notice it getting a little mossy or green on top? You can hold back the water for just a little while until that goes away, and then start watering them again. You do want to do what's called a bottom water on this, and that's where you're pouring that water into those openings on the sides of the tray so that you're not moving the seeds around. All right, and if these do fail, because sometimes plans go awry and don't work as we think they will, I can always buy seed starts, the little bulbs that you can buy from any Tractor Supply, Walmart, whatever. So I'm not too worried about it. This is my first time really growing this amount of onion seeds indoors. I did start some last year, but nothing around this quantity. On that note, thank you all for joining me today, and I hope you have a blessed and magical week, y'all. Bye.